it's unfortunate. I mean, I don't know, we're up to 16 million people or something like that
Right.
that are unemployed. This is a fresh restart for you. Maybe you should look at where you were employed before and say, hey, is that something that I really wanted to do? If not, I got a fresh start. I got a fresh start to go on and do something that I truly want to do, because at the end of the day, success is not money. In my opinion, in one man's opinion, success is not money, it's happiness. And when you find happiness, that is what's worth living. Is
Right.
finding the happiness. And now we are all given, 16 million of us are given a fresh start. Today's episode, I've got John Fenton. He's an entrepreneur, a Vistage speaker, best-selling author, and I heard something, a black belt in Tai Chi.
Yeah. That's right. I'm also known as the CEO Sensei,
There you go.
and which means a lot to me. I don't know if it means anything to other people, but yeah, when I was a managing partner running a business, I needed something to find to kind of ground myself and keep my head on straight. And we were in just a super high growth period and transforming the business in the early 2000s. And I just came across by accident a yoga and Tai Chi center, and I went in and met the master, and it wasn't like I walked in thinking, oh, yoga is gonna be like, Lululemon hanging on the wall and all that kind of stuff. And it's this very, young Korean gentleman dressed all in black. And we met for a little while, and I was in the studio with him, had a meeting. We're sitting on the floor, which you like to do that in the martial arts, sitting on the floor a lot.
Yep.
And I look up and there's this big banner. And this big banner says, Tai Chi, the way to limitless energy. Find your center. And I saw that. And I said, I want to do that. Right? And I did some online research, and I loved the sword. There's a sword form and all that kind of stuff. And so I just jumped into it with both feet. The only time I could do it was early in the morning, like at 6, 7 a.m. in the morning. We'd meet once a week, and I would practice constantly. I'm a big believer in discipline. I have a collegiate athletic experience and really just love the discipline around Tai Chi, and did some great training. I spent over a year and a half with this trainer, this master, and I achieved black belt status, and went to week-long meditation and Tai Chi retreats out in the Sedona, Arizona area, and literally been to the top of a mountain meditating, all that stuff. Been in the foothills of the Colorado Rockies.
Whoa.
Top Tai Chi master in this form. For a week-long training in the wintertime, snow on the ground. It was really cool. And it was lots of lessons I learned. And one of the lessons I learned there was we were in a training. It was early in the morning, and the master walks up behind me as a group training, a very small group, 6 or 7 of us. And he says to me, "Where are you?" I said, "Well, I'm right here, master." "No, you're not. Check yourself." My mind was somewhere else. My body was there, but my mind was somewhere else. And that's what I really got out of the essence of Tai Chi, is being totally present in the present moment. Yeah.
And I guess even in the business world and in the sales world, it's so important to be present, right? Is like when you're interacting with somebody, or you're in a conversation with somebody, or you have a sales meeting, don't let your mind drift off somewhere else. Stay engaged with it. So I guess that's something to take away from your.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it's such a crazy time right now. Right now, I don't want to talk about all the stuff that's going on, but what I have experienced in my career, 40 years in business and business leadership and financial acumen and collegiate athletic experience, and my black belt experience, is that now more than ever, we need to really kind of focus. And there's so much uncertainty, right? There's so much going on in the world. It can drive us crazy. And so being able to ground myself, and there's different ways to do that. You don't have to be a black belt in Tai Chi, but there's different ways to do that, to really focus myself, center myself, so I can make the best decisions for myself, my family, my employees, and colleagues and customers. And I think it's really important right now.
Yeah. Focusing, that's the biggest thing. There's so much, we're getting bombarded with all different types of media and all different, when what's happening with the economy, when employment's going to pick up, when everything, and you're hearing different stories. And I think the biggest thing is just to stay focused on, and centered and grounded, through all this, because you're being bombarded in every which direction.
That is so right. And I took a 2-mile walk earlier today just to kind of clear my head. And that's one of the ways I like to ground myself, aside from my daily Tai Chi meditation practice. And it occurred to me, I'm taking one step each time, right? One step forward on my path, on my 2-mile trek. And the only thing I can control is what I do. All the stuff that's going on around us, right? What can I control? My actions. What I can control is that next step that I'm going to take. And there's going to be, and every day is going to be a new day, right? We're not to the new normal yet. We haven't figured that out yet, right? So things are changing constantly. So, but each day is a new opportunity to take that one more step. I can control my next action. It's the only thing I can control, the only thing I have any power over. And that's really the only thing that matters, because it's in the present moment. It's right now. It's not in the future, because we don't know what's going to happen, really, right? And we can obsess about that and worry about that. And I'm a big vision guy. I love looking forward and vision and goal setting. And I've been very fortunate in my life to achieve a lot of the goals that I set out. Didn't achieve all of them, but many of them. I don't spend much time looking backwards other than to glean some lessons learned, right? But the thing that's so powerful is, what is the one thing I can do right now? And the small things matter. What's that one step I can take right now that's going to make a difference, that I know is true to me, true to my values, true to my core, that's going to help my business, help my customers, help my family and my friends and colleagues.
Yeah, it's so important. It's so important to do it. So let me ask you, where right now, are you enjoying your success right now? And are you, what do you have, as far as the future? What are you looking for in the future? I mean, are you optimistic? Are you, what, I want to get your thoughts on that.
I appreciate that. I am by nature an optimist. Now, I grew up in a very negative environment. Okay. So I'm kind of an outlier in my family, actually, and they're not watching, so I'm not worried. So, I'm an optimist, and I believe there are silver linings in every opportunity, and it's all around mindset. So I believe that what's going to happen, and I'm following different people. I heard a talk by Jeff Hoffman, who's a billionaire who founded Priceline.com, and he's kind of the same ilk about, being an optimist and looking to the future. There are opportunities in every situation. And if we get stuck in the way things were and keep agonizing over, kind of this friction, right? About why is this happening now? Why is this happening to me? A lot of us have that feeling. But I'm an optimist about going forward. We can find silver linings. We can find opportunities if we're open to them.
Right.
So for me now, am I enjoying success now? I am enjoying what I'm doing. I'm as busy as I've ever been. I'm doing a lot of virtual stuff with folks, with clients and former clients, and I'm creating virtual events to just connect with people. I'm not even charging people for this stuff right now, right? Yeah. Just to be out there and share.
It's hard. It's hard. It's hard. Yeah. No one wants to buy anything right now.
Right. So. Everybody's on a holding pattern. I totally get it. But I'm out there giving and sharing my experience and my philosophy on how to be a leader and leadership mastery and how to be the best that we can be. And I believe that when we come through this, for many, many reasons, we will come out better. We're going to learn more about our healthcare system, how to deliver it more efficiently, more effectively, right? We're going to learn about more distance learning and about working more remotely and reducing the stress and the go that we're always doing. Because I was in that trap. I mean, I was working 80-hour weeks.
Yeah,
burning the can on both ends, and I ended up in a hospital. I mean, I actually literally died. For 20 minutes, I was unconscious. CPR was being administered, and a defibrillator went off 5 times, sending electricity through my body, through my heart. Wow. I was very fortunate where I was physically located because the person who was there that administered the CPR was an expert at CPR. He had administered it to over 100 people in his lifetime. He was formerly a life flight EMT. And I went to see him afterwards, and I beat the odds. It was like a 5% chance of surviving that. Okay. And I went to see him about 3-4 weeks later. I want to acknowledge him for not giving up on me. And he said, "John, I knew you were fighting to get your breath back. I was not going to give up on you. And oh, by the way, you're the only person I've never actually broken their ribs."
Wow. So I think, would you accredit a lot of that to your belief and your optimism and I'm going to get through this? Yeah. Is that what really pulled you through?
I think so. And I didn't have any, out of body experience or anything like that. Right. I mean, I was unconscious. My wife was present for the whole thing because she was in a meeting in the adjacent part of the building. And it was a very public event when I went down. Yeah. But number one, I think my optimism. And I'd learned some lessons earlier in life about avoiding the conversation of why me and why now. I wasn't trapped in that victim consciousness, right? I didn't go, why did this happen? I just accepted what happened. Now, what can I do to move forward? What can I do to improve my health? I made my health my number one goal. And within 6 months, I achieved that goal and was back to normal and everything's good. My heart just stopped. No heart attack, just stopped. Sudden cardiac arrest, they call it. And, I'm I see a doctor every 6 months and I take some medication, but I am healthy. I can do everything I want to do. And I attribute that to making that my number one priority. So what did I do? I pulled back. We're all being forced to kind of pull back and sort of just pause for a moment, right?
Yep.
Many of us are not really used to spending free time, right? Having free time.
Right.
What
a
I
lot
did
of us entrepreneurs, a lot of us CEOs,
Absolutely. We're go. We got to fill up. We got all these goals to make and things to achieve. And I really believe that now's a time for us to learn how to pause before we have a heart attack, right? Before our health is really impaired, to learn how to pause, rethink how we do business, and really focus on what matters most.
I was driving into the studio today, and I was on a conversation with one of my mentors, and we've got some stuff going on, and we've lost clients, and just stuff. I mean, stuff happens, right? But it's weird, like me personally, like I'm almost in an energetic, excited time for opportunities and just being positive. I think looking for that silver lining, and like, listen, you can't help what's happening right now. Right. It happened. It's happening, right? This is happening, but I think your response to it is really what all that matters. And the way that you respond is going to dictate your outcome. I think the people that just wave their white flag, what do you think is going to happen? Right.
There's a simple equation that kind of brings that home. Exactly what you just said, Chris. E plus R equals O. E is the event, the occurrence. R is your response, and O is the outcome. And that outcome for you personally is dictated by how you respond, which is based on your thoughts, your beliefs. And I have a tagline, think differently, achieve more, right? It's about how do I want to continue to think the way I used to think, or is there a time for me to maybe think about things a little bit differently, different perspective, a different lens, right? And by looking at how I think about things, are my beliefs still holding value? Are they still valuable to me? Are they still propelling me forward? Do they still serve me, right? And when we look at how we think, and our beliefs are based on all of our past experiences, and now we have a brand new experience. But I would challenge everybody who's watching this or listening to this, you have experienced something in your life. I call them defining moments. I've had many of them. My sudden cardiac arrest was a defining moment. We have many defining moments in our lives, some of them severe, some of them not so severe. And if we think back to what those things were, we can pull out, those are situations where we had to overcome an obstacle. And it may have felt like really you're like really totally crappy, right? Going through, like, why is this happening? What's going on? But you persevered and you got through it and you came out the other side, the other end, right? And you kind of maybe look back and said, gee, that wasn't that as bad as I thought it was. And those are times when you can draw on those instances internally. You have that inside of you. You can draw on that strength to get you through what's happening nowadays and what's going to happen in the future.
I love that. And especially it's so viable to what we're going through right now is that I keep saying that the one thing that this virus will never take away is the learning experiences that you had. Right. The learning, like right now, like no matter where you are in the business, if you just started a business, if you've been in business for a long time, if you've been employed somewhere, whatever that is, the experiences that we're experiencing right now, because we are going to get through this, you're going to take on to your next thing. And that's one thing that the virus will never take away from you is the experiences. But your response right now is going to dictate how that's going to play out, how that's going to play in the future, right? Mm-hmm. So if your response is positive and you're just taking, I talk about this all the time, is day-by-day decisions. You got to make day-by-day decisions. But what you're learning right now, if you properly take that on to the next thing after all of this, that is what's going to be forever. And so it's, it sucks right now, and there's some things that are going on right now, but once we get through this, understand this is a learning lesson. This is a learning experience for you to get better and stronger, and get excited about those things. And even though sometimes it's, I don't know, maybe I'm just weird, but I get excited under pressure, because I'm like, man, I'm growing, like I'm learning stuff, it's like, hey, I might have lost this account, but I know what to do next better, right? Or I know how to structure a company stronger for the next thing, right? Or whatever. So try to find that silver lining, and that's what's going to take you through it.
Absolutely. It's interesting to give it a perspective, right? I think about it this way. We have not seen anything like this, really probably going all the way back to the Great Depression and World War II. And guess what? Just like now, the whole world was affected. This time, though, the enemy is not another country. The enemy is the virus, right? So think about that. We are now, people have used the term for that generation, the greatest generation, because of all the things that they went through and survived through, because they were all in it together. They all held on to their faith and their belief that they would get through it together, and they did. And now's the time for us, all the way, Gen Z and millennials and all our, X and everybody else and baby boomers, everybody, to say we can get through this together. We're in this together, and we will come out stronger. And we're creating now, in the midst of all this, the next greatest generation, I believe.
Yeah, I think a lot of good things are going to come out of this. Like I talk about this too, is there's a lot of entrepreneurs right now that are home stuck, and you know how many ideas are coming up, like new businesses that are being created right now. I work in the film business as well. Pre-production right now is fantastic, because all the writers that never had time to sit and write are indoors writing scripts, writing new content, coming up with a new idea. People, it's unfortunate. I mean, I don't know, we're up to 16 million people or something like that, that are unemployed. This is a fresh restart for you. Maybe you should look at where you were employed before and say, hey, is that something that I really wanted to do? If not, I got a fresh start. I got a fresh start to go on and do something that I truly want to do, because at the end of the day, success is not money. In my opinion, in one man's opinion, success is not money, it's happiness. And when you find happiness, that is what's worth living. Is finding the happiness. And now we are all given, 16 million of us are given a fresh start.
It's so true. It's the way I like to think about it is it's freedom.
Yeah.
Right. Success is freedom. And success, I heard Jeff Hoffman, who's a billionaire who founded Priceline.com a couple of weeks ago in a private meeting, group meeting. And he was talking about, success and financial success. That's not the end game. That's not the end of the game, right? That just gives you the platform to do more good, around in the world, and in your world or whatever, however you see fit. It's that platform that gives you the flexibility to create the things you really want to create, to have that freedom. And that's really an important thing right now. And so right now, this is a crisis, but I kind of consider it like a catalyst. It's a catalyst to move us forward, to move me forward, to move us forward. I'm doing some new things. I'm expanding what I'm doing to move me forward in an accelerated way. It's going to be meaningful to my audience.
Right. So, do you have a clear vision for the future? Like, what are your plans? What are your next steps?
Yeah. My next steps are just to continue to deliver value, to reach out. I do a monthly, started back in January, I started a live event. Now it's a virtual event, still live, but it's virtual, for CEOs and leaders in the greater Atlanta area. And that's just a way for me to get out and meet people and to let them work with me. It's a free event. It's a 3-hour event, and it's free. And also doing some virtual 1-hour sessions. And I'm going to be speaking on a platform to 8,000 employees next week on a virtual meeting for 1 hour about mindset. So I'm pushing the envelope, and I'm kind of pushing myself out there to create these opportunities. The future for me is really consistent with my goals I had even before this, to be a leadership expert, recognized leadership expert, inspirational speaker, speaking around the world to tens of thousands of people around the world, and that can come in different ways, right? Also to build my business in a way that is very successful, that's sustainable, and repeatable, and really sets me up for future and the success. I will keep doing what I'm doing now until my last days. My wife says, when are you going to retire? I'm doing what I love, right? I am just enjoying so much sharing, delivering my message of hope and my message from experiences that can help other entrepreneurs, other leaders, other business people, just other people to have the best life they can have. So the future is bright. I've got like 7 or 8 different, affirmations I read every morning and every evening on 7 different aspects of my life to help propel me to the goals that I have. And those haven't changed despite what's happening. It's going to be a different time frame.
Yeah.
It's just the time frame is going to be a bit longer. Maybe not. Maybe it's faster. And I heard a great podcast recently. I'm drawing a blank on his name, but I've heard this concept before. Is there's going to be a recession, or there is a recession, right? And his message to his team, it was a Zoom call. It's on YouTube. He's a financial advisor, financial wealth advisor, and he was talking to his team, and he said, listen up, people, we are not going to participate in the recession. That's a mindset.
Yeah.
I mean, there's things happen around us. The business is going to change, but he's not accepting that everything's going to be in a downturn and a recession. We're going to find ways to not accept what's happening and to keep moving forward in a thoughtful way, in a sound way, to propel our business forward. And I think that's a great mindset to have.
That's great. So in wrapping up here, if there was one piece of leadership advice that you would give to an entrepreneur or a business owner out there, what would that be?
Find some time to look inside yourself. I call it stealing 5 minutes. And now a lot of us have more than 5 minutes to steal, right?
Right.
And the Busy Bee actually wrote a book about it. Steal 5 minutes, 5-minute mastery. Take 5 minutes, focus on your breathing. Feel your body, feel that breathing sensation in your body, and then focus on what matters most to you. What are you grateful for? Be in that state of gratitude every day. You can even do a gratitude journal if you want, and first thing in the morning and first thing in the evening. Don't go reaching for your cell phone or go to your computer the first thing when you get up. Unless you're expecting a very important phone call or meeting, don't do that. Focus on yourself, focus inwardly, ground yourself through your breathing, and that will set you up for success for that day.
Love that. I love that. So focus on yourself, focus on your breathing, focus internally, focus gratitude, especially now. Find something to be grateful for day in and day out. I really appreciate that. John, thanks so much for coming on.
Awesome, Chris. Thank you so much.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning into the episode. If you guys enjoyed it, show some love, give me a thumbs up, and subscribe. Also, make sure you check out our exclusive C-Level group on Facebook.